Folks, Outlaw Shaver here, and a little bit scruffy, and got the hat hair and everything going on, and come in from work, and anyway, I got about 3 days growth on here, and thinking I probably need to get it off, but I was kind of saving it for a good straight razor shave. Figured I'd give it a few more days on it before attempting it again. Last time I user error, I got into this just a little bit, but something that I wanted to introduce for tonight is this right here, Medicine Man. And to tell you the truth, the theory behind the name is because there are actually so many scent ingredients in it, it's just too much to list on the back of the tub. So basically the way we're going to describe this is a complex, soothing, creamy, herbal barbershop scent. And it's heavy in chamomile and a few other herbals and a few florals and things like that. But how can I describe it? I've been working on this particular scent for quite some time, and I wanted to get it where I wanted it. And the only thing I could say is if you like Tabac, then you will probably like this, because this is to me Tabac without the excessive baby powder. So that's I like this. This is one of my favorites so far, and I finally got it to where I want it, and as far as the scent profile, and because of all of the ingredients and the blending and everything, that's why I called it Medicine Man. So the brush I'm going to be using tonight is a Maggard Granite, and I forget, I think that's a 28 millimeter knot, but pretty decent size brush there. For the razor, this right here, I still haven't figured out what the brand of this thing is yet, and I've been kind of searching around on it. I don't know if anybody can identify that emblem. It looks like that something was polished out of it, and some of the letters are missing. If I turn it up one way, it says like CS, and I can't tell after that. But if I turn it over the other way, it looks like a KL, maybe an I, and then at the end an SO. So if anybody knows anything about that, please let me know. So far I've found that it's a pretty nice, light, maneuverable razor, and I'd sure like to find out who made it. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. I have a little bit of the Medicine Man here left over that I shoveled off in a tub, and that's what I'm going to lather out of tonight. So get my brush up. I'm going to go ahead and shake it out, most everything out of it, and just to get started up. That knot there, even though it's synthetic, it seems like it holds quite a lot of water. And that should be enough to get over into my bowl. And that, I like this thing. I mean, it was like a few bucks, maybe $3 or $4 at Walmart. It is not considered a lathering bowl, but one thing I did like is the fact that it had a base on it that you could get a hold of with your hand and grip it. And this smell is just absolutely wonderful. If you like creamy, soft herbals, or if you like chamomile, this is quite amazing. And like I said, it's very reminiscent of Tabac, only without the excessive powdery notes. And I don't mind that powder myself. Some people do. That's the one gripe that maybe some people might have against Tabac, but this doesn't have as much of that in it. And usually that represents orris root. So far I have not found a viable source for orris root to put in to my products, which I might be able to find that one of these days here and introduce it into something. I may even revamp this, but this right now is as close as you can get without the powders in. Anyway, I think we've got pretty decent lather there. Plenty of it on the stick. I'm going to go ahead and wet my face up. I did not take a shower since I got home, so I'm probably going to have to go ahead and try to wet up here just a little bit and soften it up some. Because right now it's about like barbed wire. Well, while I'm doing this, I'll give you kind of a little treat that I had today. A gentleman from Texas, I guess, who had been watching on Badger and Blade and maybe a few other places, had kind of heard some news about my soaps, and he called me up on the phone, and he says, "Hey, I'm headed up to Stillwater, Oklahoma, and I'm wondering if there would be any chance I could stop by your store on the way." Well, I don't have what you would call a brick and mortar store. I just don't. I don't have enough. This area, this rural area, just does not seem to me like it would support that type of a thing, and I really don't need the overhead in that endeavor right now. Maybe it will go good, and maybe it'll be a thing to do in the future. But so anyway, he calls me and asked about that. So actually, what we did, we just met at the local cafe, and I brought some soaps down to him to take a sniff of and see what he liked, and he picked out a few that he liked, and he's headed up to see friends. But Medicine Man was one of them, so he actually got to be the first guy to buy that one before I got the chance to announce it. But super neat guy. His name's Bradley, and look forward to seeing what he thinks about it. And I guess he went to OSU, and the mascot for OSU is Pistol Pete, and I had considered using Pistol Pete as an icon for one of the future soaps here, which we'll be releasing soon as well. So you might stay tuned and look for that as well. Well, I think I've got enough moisture into it so far. Go ahead and get lathered up. I'm not going super thick with this leather, just enough where I've got a bit of a shine on it to keep it slick enough for the straight razor. I'm hoping I got a good strop on this, and we'll see how it goes. I got to be real careful right here. Something bit me there. And after all that wetting, it still feels tough as a rope. So I may not have gotten the best edge on this thing yet. Try that at a different angle. And one of these days I'll get that figured out. All right, let's go for another one. Well, how's everybody been doing? This last week for me has been pretty busy. We've been kind of winding down on the watermelons and pumpkins. Things have kind of come to an end there. We've had our first cold weather hit, and that really played a big part in bringing us to the end of the harvest on watermelons especially. So we've been out the last few days, just kind of getting things tidied up for the winter, getting things winterized, checking fluids, all of that, so things don't freeze up. And the winter is always quite a miserable thing here. You know, you think that the heat is just grand, but when you get out in, 2, 3, 4 degree weather with 20-mile-an-hour wind, it can put the test on you. I'm not looking forward to it. That pass wasn't near as bad. Guys, I am going to dance all around this thing. And I do not want to take the top off of that. Sorry about that. I think I kind of got out of view there for a second. I watch people like Mike Baker just skim over that like they're going over buttered ice cream, you know. And not me. I'm still taking baby steps on this thing. I'm gonna go ahead and wet up again just a little bit. I'm trying to do this, you know, with a straight razor and still not make the video to be a long and boring thing. I'm going to start under here this time. Now that I made 2 downward passes, the first one kind of mowed out most of it, but got a little closer, I'm going to go ahead and go with a cross grain from going toward the nose. I was previously taking my cross grain pass going this way just one time, and I found out that I still had enough stubble hanging out there that it created quite a tug on it. And since I'm so slow, I'm going to do a tiny wet up there. And as you can see, it's still cutting hair. That doesn't focus too well. Okay, last pass. And I found that on my against the grain passes, if I take and flatten this razor out just a little bit more, it helps quite a bit. Sometimes it helps to watch somebody else in different styles and what they do. It certainly doesn't hurt. There's a lot of things that we can learn these days pretty easily by watching what people do. And, you know, the internet is such an amazing thing anymore. You can ask just about any question you want, learn just about anything you want. I'm going to soup this up just a little bit there. This is the angle that's the most difficult to me. Trying to go for and against the grain under here. And I guess I'll just go. On bias there. If you want to shut me up, just put a straight razor in my hand. I'm telling you. Well, if this wasn't slick, I wouldn't try that, but well, what do you think? Better than when I got started? I think it'll satisfy. It's all right. I left a little tiny bit hanging probably around that bug bite there, but some things just aren't worth going after. Anyway, tonight you saw Medicine Man. I think you all like it pretty well. Have a good evening.